Also, we want to talk about today. I was listening to the news this morning, and today is actually Autism Awareness Day. Did you know, and Lynn read this in the newspaper this morning, we were talking on the phone, that 1 in 66 children are diagnosed with autism.
Yeah.
And what may be some of the contributing factors? I've heard immunizations. Some people won't get their child immunized because they're afraid of autism. Maybe it's our processed food. Maybe we're eating too much processed food, and that's affecting our children. 1 in 66. That's a lot of children.
You look at, you talked about processed foods, but also there's been studies to show that red food dye,
Red food dye,
and the effects of that. So nobody really knows for sure. I think that it's great that we have more research going into autism, and that they are looking for ways to try to offset so many children, with that condition.
Also, this morning they did say that one of the reports stated that scientists can link autism in the womb, which could be very important.
Really?
It could be very, very important. If they can get that link back to the womb, then maybe there could be some sort of cure for that eventually.
Preventative
cure, prenatal care.
That's
something.
Great.
So hopefully in the years to come, I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be a lot more research on autism. So also Gary wanted me to bring up that there is a autism walk in Lebanon on April the 12th.
Birthday!
Your birthday. Well, we'll have to go to that. But you can contact Lisa Nellie Martin. She lives in Springfield. And I'm sure Gary will put up a link on this show and for the autism walk. But support that. There's a lot of families out there that are struggling with autism, and we need to be there as a community to support them. There's a lot of things out there, but we want to make sure our kids are taken care of.
Absolutely.
And also this morning, this is, go for it, Lynn.
It is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and all of April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. So if you see blue pinwheels, they're only blue. So even if you don't have access to these, if you were to go to a store and find a blue pinwheel and put it
this way,
put it in your yard, and just to let community members know that you are in support of Child Abuse Awareness Month. Especially getting back to what we were talking about with our town hall meeting and with Hallie Austin Smith, who, because of her child abuse, was lured into prostitution. It really plays a role.
Right, and child abuse is something that never has to happen. Never. That is something that can be preventable, controlled. If you have children and you think that you're too angry with them, there's things in place, there's people in place to help you with the anger management and get help. We all lose our temper. It's deeper than that. It could be your parent abused you. I think that a lot of times it's situational and it's also generational.
Well, and I know that we work closely with Silverleaf Advocacy and Support Center out of E-Town, and the schools in Nelson County use an educator from that agency to come and talk to the children about body safety, appropriate good touches, bad touches, and that's in an effort to help with the prevention of spreading more child abuse.
But make sure as a parent you educate your children too. There's so many resources, library, the internet. Get some proper strategies for your children. Be your child's advocate, be your child's educator. I think that we leave it up to others to take care of educating our child.
Or we think that it's never going to happen to our child.
And I think that happens more than anything. Oh, that's never going to happen to my child. But children, sometimes they live in fear about telling an adult. So make sure they can always come to you. And I know we have great parents here in Nelson County and Washington, Marion County, that we do deeply care about our children and we want what's best for them. So make sure you educate your children, educate yourself on those issues, and I think that it will show in our community and in our statistics.
Well, there was an article in the Kentucky Standard today about a man that was just arrested for sexually abusing a girl. I think she's 13 right now or 14, but since age of 8 that he had been repeatedly sexually abusing her. Not sure quite how she was able to tell or help herself. I kind of scanned the article a little bit, but it's sad that we have to open up our local newspaper and read stories like that.
And it's something we don't want to read about. We would prefer not to. I wished all newspapers had something fun in them every day, but it's not like that anymore. And, it's just become an epidemic with, autism, with child abuse, with trafficking. We just want to make sure that people are informed more. Lynne, we're going to switch subjects real quick. She went to New York to visit her parents, as we talked about earlier. Did you know that you're the sandwich generation? Did you know we're the sandwich generation?
Yes.
We're the meat and potatoes of this great nation right now. So what happened, Lynne?
Well, my dad, you said my parents, but it's actually my
Your mom.
My mom lives in upstate New York, and my husband's parents live in upstate New York, and my brother lives there. And my mom will be 84 in July, and the last time I saw my mom was last April, so I really hate to have it go on that long where I don't get a chance to see her. Unfortunately, I only have so much vacation time, and so does my husband. But Mom is doing okay. Last April when I was home, she had breast cancer, and I went to be there for her when she had her biopsy and her lumpectomy and her treatment, her radiation treatment. Fortunately, the best part was that she had the most treatable form of cancer.
Awesome.
So that was amazing, and she's doing really great. The sad fact about it is that every time I do see her, as it is once a year, or when I'm talking to her on the phone, I'm seeing a decline each year. And so this year I noticed that when I was home that her walking has turned to more like a shuffle. So she's not really walking in a normal way that she used to. She's had trouble getting in and out of her car. And also, I think the thing is, when you get to be that age, you don't care what you say. You can come out and say anything, and people are going to just forgive you because you're old. So I took her out for frozen yogurt, and it was this new place that just opened up, and she had never been to a chain there, Sweet Frog. And so we went there, and we're sitting there at a little table. It was very, very crowded because it just opened. Lots of families there with little kids.
And she's 84, so
and she is going.
She's
going to be 84. But we're just making small talk, and all of a sudden she says, "There's lots of fat kids in here." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm looking around at tables, around me, because I'm hoping that nobody heard it. And I didn't want to cause a commotion. I think, like I said, though, I think we were okay, but
we like our ice cream. I mean, but anyway, yeah,
we got our ice cream in. That was good.
Yeah, hopefully, we don't make the same mistakes. I think there was something that happened with a gentleman that was on the news, and he was an assistant principal up there. Maybe it's a northern thing, Lynn, because he was from up north, and the other day, he had posted a picture of a girl that he saw in Walmart on Facebook, and she was overweight, and she had struggled with her weight, and her parents struggle with it. And so, and as an assistant principal, he should never, ever go there. That's a place, even as adults, we don't ever want to go to. We don't, we want to always keep kindness in the forefront of our hearts. And but your mom being elderly, they just don't care at that point. They're just like, I'm going to say what I want to say. But this man decided to put this picture on the internet of this little girl, which was so sad because he's our age. He should know better. And like you said, with ice cream, we all like our ice cream, and I love it. I went yesterday and got an ice cream cone as a reward.
It's spring, and.
It is, and so many families were probably on spring break as well.
Well, we've had a long, hard winter,
yeah.
And it's been a tough winter across the country for a lot of folks. People have been inside more. They've been eating their comfort food.
Yes.
I know that when I talk to other women, we talk about how we've packed down just a couple pounds because we have the comfort food that we've turned to.
And they've had worse weather up there, and we've had a really, really bad winter here. But Lynne said up there, they still have snowbanks. I have a friend that lives in northern Maine, and they still have about 4 foot of snow on the ground and have missed 1 day of school. Can you believe that?
Yeah, as compared to 19 days of school for Nelson County.
Yeah. So, sorry, but that's the way it is. We just don't have the equipment they have to remove the snow and pile it up into banks. But it's amazing how different it is from here to up there with snow and the weather, but
they haven't been able to take down the Christmas lights yet. I noticed that a lot of things all over town. There was somebody that still had a big nativity set up in their yard. People haven't been able to get outside and do those things. So it's so nice that here I left 30 to 40 degree temperature, and now today,
77.
Back in Kentucky, I'm loving Kentucky weather, love my southern weather.
That's, they say the one thing about Kentucky, stay here because the weather will change.
Oh, they said that when I lived in Indiana.
They said
that. Yeah, that's true. It's not that
far. Well, now
far.
spring's coming on, and I know this week we've been doing some yard work around the house and spring cleaning. And what are you going to do, Lynne? What's on your agenda for spring?
On my agenda is, and if it's nice, I'm going to be outside. I've already been outside. We had a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, it happened to be in the 60s, and I was out, clearing away a lot of leaves and brush and everything. And then the next day, it snowed, and I was inside. I was like, what? But I know that I've got a little bit more yard work to do, but mainly if we have some rain or any weather that where I'm going to be inside, I've got closets. I need to get my winter clothes put away. I need to get my spring clothes out. I need to get a mani-pedi so I can wear my sandals. And
have you noticed in the spring I do this, and I turn up the radio as soon as the warm day hits, the first warm day hits. I'm on the radio station that plays the 80s music, loud. I've got my radio turned up just a little bit, a little bit more than a little bit.
Now, are you singing along to the radio when you're at the stoplight so the people next to you can hear your music?
It does not bother me. I don't like the thump, 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 but I like the 80s music, and I don't want it to be so loud that somebody's going to be angry with me. But I'm ready for spring to be here, the windows to be rolled down. You have a sunroof.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Have the hair flying out the sunroof.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's just no need to put the air conditioning on. It's just perfect weather, and I find myself doing the same thing. And sometimes I'm finding myself going out of the way to just drive around town because I'm enjoying having the music on and the sunroof, and I don't want to go home yet.
Well, we've got some great places around Nelson County just to have a little, they call it a staycation. And
good point.
Staycation. And you can do that on a day trip. Burnham Forest, awesome. I love going out there and doing the canopy tree walk. And if you go outside every day right now and look at one tree in your yard, which is what I've been doing. I should have photographed it, but you can see how quick the leaves are coming on a day-to-day basis.
New buds.
So I got some new buds.
I guess we're going to have a lot of people complaining about allergies, and don't complain about allergies, especially when we're getting the nice weather now, and that with the late spring that we're having. Heck, I don't really even care if we have a spring. I want it to skip right to summer.
Well, I agree with you, because I know I was in Lowe's yesterday and some woman was wiping off the pollen off her shirt that works there, and she's like, I go home covered in pollen.
Oh.
I said, I would be so sick without my allergy medicine. I would just be deathly ill.
I'm sorry. So I'm going to have a lot of people probably upset at me.
No, I think they're good. No, I think they're good. I think they want the leaves to come on really quick, get rid of the pollen, and just skip on to at least the same kind of temperature, but skip the pollen part. But we do have a lot of great places. Burnham Forest, the Canopy Tree Walk. I love walking up on my Kentucky home. I love walking the state park. I just think it's beautiful. I love going. My husband and I will run to Mammoth Cave every now and then. We'll just take the little boat ride, or we like those little one-day trips where you're gone for the day and come right back. And
I like to walk downtown. I like to walk downtown Bardstown, and I might go in and out of the little shops, and then you've got JT's consignment shop that's towards Baskin Robbins.
Oh, we can stop at JT's.
Yeah, and then go to Baskin Robbins, and then they got that great little area with the fountain and some benches that you can go and sit there, and you can people watch and just kind of relax with your family. And
I have some friends, and we walk downtown a whole lot, and we'll switch it up. We'll walk Dean Watts, and then when we walk downtown, we normally eat downtown, which is kind of crazy because you're walking to get in shape, and then
you stop and eat.
My friend Sharon always says, "Hey, we're gonna walk downtown today? Sure, let's do it." And then we'll walk around like a big block, about 1.5 miles, and she'll say, "Okay, where do you want to eat at?" So we'll hit Mammy's or Pat's or the Mexican or something, because downtown Bardstown has some of the great little areas that you can just enjoy and relax.
Hearst drugstore. Where can you go and find a drugstore soda fountain now?
Not
many places have that left
in Bardstown.
And so that's kind of a unique thing. Of course, you've got Cresso's, and they also opened up that Primo. Their pizza's pretty good there.
I haven't eaten it. We need to run up there one day.
Yeah,
up there.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of little great places downtown. Again, you talked about Mammy's and Pat's Place. Trying to think if there's any place I've missed downtown so far. Now we've got the new Bourbon Center that opened.
Yeah, that's a nice place.
Peacock should be.
The Peacock on Third will be
they should be moving soon.
Across the street.
And then
Spalding and Sons.
Just Shack and Cocoa. It's kind of great to see what they have out for spring decorations.
And with this, who needs them all? I mean, I have a hard time going to a mall because, number one, I don't like to drive in Louisville. I don't mind driving anywhere. I'll drive to the beach. I don't care. But it's just something about going in and out of a shop. Oh, what about the new outlet malls that we're going to have right about an hour from here in Shelbyville? The new Bluegrass outlet malls, they're going to be...
I heard about that, but I heard that they were going to open maybe in August.
Well, they're going to open sometime this summer, and the reason I know is I have an inside scoop. I always get these inside scoops.
Leave it to you.
Leave it to me. My sister Sharon works at Martha Lane Collins High School, and she worked yesterday for the Bluegrass outlets because they were having a job fair. All day yesterday they had a job fair, so she helped them. She did some errands in Shelbyville for them, went and got their dinner, I guess played fetch. But they're hiring, and they're going to be some decent jobs on security and retail. But they're going to have, I think, like 100 shops. But
I'm going to change the subject on you. I'm still on the subject of jobs, but I also did see in the newspaper today that Tower Automotive is now, they can't find a ready facility in Bardstown, so they're going to Bullitt County. But think about how many people are going to be employed through there. So you've got the shopping center with more employment opportunities, and you have
Tower Automotive,
who's local. So this has really been a boost for our community and economics.
And we wish we would have had the warehouse space here. And I know I worked for Tower many years ago, and it is a great place to work for. They have great wages, and the work is hard. Anywhere you work at, if you work, it's going to be hard.
Right.
And but it's rewarding because you can support your family on those wages. And it's nice to see Tower growing.
It is. I mean, and you've got talk of so many different places laying off that it's kind of really nice and refreshing to hear about places expanding and having the need to hire more people.
Exactly. And that's why it's important. We go back to our beginning conversation about drug testing. Get clean, get a good job. They're out there. There are jobs out there everywhere. It's just, I think you just have to look and
it might not be advertised. There may not be like, just because you get the Kentucky Standard and you look at the list of places that are advertising for jobs, the best way to look for a job is not only following up on those leads, but personally going someplace that you think that you want to be employed at, and talking to human resource and trying to find out. A lot of times people go online now, companies want you to go online to fill out applications.
And we have a great adult learning center here in Nelson County. Belinda Carter runs that, and I know 15, 16 years ago she was there, and I learned all of my computer skills through the Adult Learning Center. Back then, when we didn't even really have internet.
Well, they'll help you brush up on your job skills and resume. Things that, they'll make sure that you have those tools to empower yourself with, to make sure that you can have the chance to apply to our local places to get a job.
That's what this is, the Empower Hour.
You're absolutely right.
Empower yourself. Yeah. and the whole thing about that is education. We have some great educational facilities here with our city schools, our county schools, our parochial schools.
I love Bardstown.
I love Bardstown, and Bardstown people are really moving in here.
Let me just tell you something that I noticed when I went back to New York. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about my hometown. I love my hometown. That'll always have a special place in my heart because, of course, I grew up there and I lived there until I was 24. But I have found the people here have been so friendly that if you walk in any place of business, the people just are very, very, there's always somebody that's smiling at you and saying hi. They do. And, I noticed that when I was back home, when I went into a restaurant one evening, it just didn't seem like the people were all that interested in even talking to you. And I hate to say that about my hometown, but I think there's a difference between the northern and the southern people.
There is. I think so.
You got that southern hospitality.
You do, and I think we're in the heart of the southern hospitality. Or I want to say it begins here in Kentucky. And it originated here in Bardstown.
We are Kentucky proud.
We are transplants, but we are Kentucky proud. I was raised here in Kentucky. I was born in Cincinnati because there was no local hospitals in northern Kentucky. But regardless, I was raised in Kentucky.
This is the longest I have lived any place. 14 years. Like I said, I moved when I was 24 from upstate New York. Lived in northern Indiana. We moved there from New York to northern Indiana. My husband's job was expanding. They opened a plant in Plymouth, Indiana. We were there for 4 years, and I really wanted to move back to New York. So by then I had a child who was 4, and I wanted him to get to know his grandparents. So we moved back to New York for 2 years for the same company. That didn't really work out, so we had the opportunity to move back to Plymouth, Indiana. So we've lived in Plymouth, Indiana a total of 11 years, and now here in Bardstown, Kentucky, 14 years. That's a record. I'm finding that I moved so many different times that every time you move, you clean out your closets and get rid of stuff, that I've got a bunch of stuff that I need to get cleaned out and bring to consignment shops or Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul or whatever.